I am Dee Dee Del Camp of the Optimal Health Center.
And I'm Vanessa Teff with Standard Process.
And today we're here to talk about women's health.
It's physiologically possible to live healthfully into your 100s. However, that's not the common belief.
Yes, I think it's very normal to live that long, and a lot of people don't believe that because they don't know or see a lot of people that are living into their 100s and healthfully living that long. And a lot of people that come into the clinic here, they are women with a lot of issues. A lot of issues like heavy periods, insomnia, bloating, mood disorders, cramping, things like a lot of hormonal issues that they come in here with.
But most people think that's so common because they talk to their friends and their friends are experiencing the same thing, especially when you go through menopause. And perimenopause, I know that comes to be. And so it's viewed as normal.
Right.
But I think, in other words, it's not necessarily normal, but it's common.
Right. Women come in and some of them are on bioidentical hormones. That's what, when they went to the doctor, that's what they were recommended. Some of them bioidentical, sometimes they're on synthetic hormones. The thing with those types of hormone treatments is that they're very hard to control in the body. Many times when they go to the doctor, they test them once. They test them at a specific part of their cycle if they're a cycling woman. They don't get a real accurate picture of the actual hormones in the body, and then they prescribe some kind of a hormone treatment, and it may or may not be a hormone treatment that works for them. And they might initially feel better, but once the hormones get in the body and there's very little control as to what happens in the body with the hormone, many times then they will become even more symptomatic than they were before.
Which often leads to more hormones.
Right.
Prescribing more hormones.
Balance, but yes.
Is it true that, especially with synthetic hormones, you cannot measure them in the body? Is that true?
Right. Synthetic hormones are not our hormones. So they are not detected in the same way as a natural hormone is in our body.
So if someone is prescribing that or you're taking it, there's no way to regulate it.
Right.
Right?
Yes. Many times women are overdosed with synthetic hormones because they really don't have an accurate picture as to what the woman really needs.
Now, I know you believe this because you've seen it in practice, that women, anyone, but especially women in this case, can restore their glands to optimal function, and so their hormones and everything is working properly, so they don't necessarily need synthetic or bioidentical hormones.
Right. What we do is a very natural approach using herbs and glandular formulations that will help restore the body. It helps restore the hypothalamus pituitary axis. The HB axis is kind of the head glands that will help regulate the body's hormones. And so we start a lot of times right there with the HB axis and trying to help re-regulate that so that it brings balance in the hormones.
So what you're saying is you get to the underlying cause. Instead of jumping after symptoms, and going that route, you'll start at the top, regulate the whole endocrine system and the signaling and the HPA axis and everything coming from the brain and the hormones, and then that, oftentimes, the body will then regulate itself.
Right, very much. And another important thing when you are working with excessive hormones in the body or an imbalance of hormones in the body is the liver and cleansing the body, making sure the body's cleansed, the liver is supported and cleansed. The liver is what helps us to get rid of excess of hormones, regulate the hormones in the body. So doing something with the liver is also very important.
How do you test for things like this?
We have a couple different tests that we use quite often. One is the hair tissue mineral analysis test that gives us kind of a broad idea of what's going on with the hormones, as well as the adrenals and the thyroid, which are very important in balancing the hormones also. Another test that we do is a saliva test, and that is the female hormone panel for cycling women. We also have a perimenopausal and a postmenopausal saliva test that we can do.
And so you'll test these hormones then and test this woman throughout, if she's cycling, throughout her cycle to get an accurate display of what her hormones are doing.
Right.
Maybe if she's estrogen dominant, or maybe she's just progesterone deficient.
Right. The cycling women's hormone panel will test throughout a cycle so that we're getting a picture of every part of that cycle, so it's very accurate. And then we take those results and we have a natural approach to re-regulating those hormones. There's a couple of things that we also will do because it's very important when balancing hormones, and that is we take a look at the digestive system and how well is that woman's digestive system working, because the digestive system has to be really working great in order for us to get the best results with hormones also.
I think a lot of times is what you're touching upon is people think it's just hormones, but it's not. I mean, it's the whole, you got to lay a whole foundation, and so that's stress handling, that's sugar balancing and handling, digestion, what you're mentioning, and also hormones, correct?
Yes, those are some main points. Stress modification, we look at that, we look at how the adrenal glands are working, and we have a very good formulation that we work a lot with to help. It's an overall body tonic really, and it helps with immunity, adrenal health, and balancing hormones. It's called Real. There is more information on our website, optimalhealthnetwork.com, about that formulation, but we are using that very regularly with hormone balance as well as adrenal and immunity issues. Stress modification is very important when you're talking about balancing the hormones. Blood sugar, also a very important category. We use an herb called gymnema for that a lot. We need to make sure that the blood sugar is balanced. Blood sugar, adrenals, thyroid are all very interconnected, and along with the rest of the hormones.
So it's a whole body approach, and not just one single thing. And I think that's the result of health and how you can live. Why it's normal to live to be 100, and it's physically possible because of all those different factors.
That's right.